If you want to transform your hair growth like I did, let me deconstruct everything you know about hair growth. I'm Deanna. This is my kangaroo Jackie. I'm a molecular and cell biologist, cosmetic chemist, and everything you probably know about hair growth is a lie. You probably were told it's shampoo, it's condition, right? These things, shampoo cleans, conditions, deep condition. Hair growth is a molecular and cellular biological process. It has to do with membrane biology. You probably heard that it's genetics. It's not genetics. And most people who say genetics have never taken an entry level or have a basic understanding of DNA, RNA protein. Like the central dogma of molecular biology is the foundation of genetics. So it's really interesting to me how everyone and their mom is an expert on genetics and they have no understanding on basic human, genetics, right? Everything you know about hair growth is a lie. Hair growth is molecular and cell biology. Your hair growth is a parasympathetic nervous system control, right? So it's a form of cellular regeneration. The reason why it's parasympathetic and not sympathetic, because parasympathetic, this is a part of your autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions, unlike your central nervous system, which has to do with you picking up stuff. And this is all your central nervous system. That's why people who are paralyzed lose functions like this. But your autonomic nervous system deals with the things that you don't think about. You don't think about breathing. You don't think about digesting food. You don't think about certain things. You don't think about secreting certain hormones. You don't think about that because it does it automatically, or your autonomic nervous system. So for parasympathetic, your nervous system, that deals with rest and digest, where sympathetic deals with fight or flight. That's why if you're very stressed, you cannot really grow your hair, because your body is putting all this energy into keeping you alive, right? That's why your cortisol will be higher if you're stressed, have trauma, because you're trying to deal with this. And when you're trying to grow your hair, it's hard to do it, but there are things you can do. Scalp massage. I scalp massage my hair for at least 2 hours a day. Some days I do 3, but I wouldn't go past 3, because then we're going to go into diminishing returns and calcium overload, which is a whole other point, but where I'm trying to condense like molecular and cell biological concepts to a very easily digestible video, right? So the reason why you want to scalp massage your hair for 2 hours a day, I want y'all to listen to me. Scalp massaging boosts circulation. What does your blood carry? Oxygen. This oxygen is then going into the mitochondria, or your powerhouses. That's why the mitochondria isn't a powerhouse for no reason. It's taking this oxygen, and the oxygen is fueling ATP production. Technically, it's serving as the final electron acceptor of final electron acceptor, and ATP is being made. Now ATP is your body's energy currency. This is important because without ATP production, we'd be dead. That's the purpose of eating and breathing. Eating and breathing is so we have energy. It's for our body to do all the things on a cellular level that we don't even see, which makes our bodies incredible, right? So when you have this ATP, it fuels things like cell division, right? Without energy, you don't have cell division. Hair growth is an energy dependent process. Without this energy, you're not going to have it. But this energy comes from circulation. Also, scalp massaging directly activates the pathway that triggers hair follicle stem cell activation. This minoxidil, finasteride, they don't do that. Minoxidil is not a DHT inhibitor. I have beef with minoxidil, not because I'm not a fan of pharmaceuticals, but it's not even worth it to take, because if you stop taking minoxidil, you're going to undo your effects, because it's a vasodilator. It hyperpolarizes the cell membrane, makes it more negative by causing a bunch of potassium ions to leave, and it then vasodilates or relaxes the smooth muscle beneath the epidermis and dermis to promote more blood flow. So that's with the more blood flow, you'll have more energy technically. But if it's about blood flow, then you can use a scalp massage to promote blood flow and directly trigger hair follicle stem cell activation. This does not, minoxidil does not directly trigger hair follicle stem cell activation at all. So this is the reason why you want to be doing it. Now the research is 4 to 20 minutes. 4 to 20 minutes a day is what's research, but they could have taken it further, right? You're not even reaching peak anagen phase or growth phase optimization, right? And people are like, well, how do you prevent irritation? It causes irritation. I really think that they didn't want this research to be further conducted, because the hair and biotech industry is very stuck in pharmaceutical solutions. And I am literally pioneering through this extended scalp massaging, extended mechanotransduction, what it is to have extreme hair growth without having to use invasive or means, or without having to take supplements or pills that have terrible side effects, right? With scalp massaging, you're going to have long lasting changes. So you're not going to undo your progress if you decided to stop because you have vascular changes. Scalp massaging upregulates VEGF. VEGF is vascular endothelial growth factor. That is the growth factor that promotes angiogenesis or blood vessel formations. This is what makes a 10-lane highway more efficient than a 2-lane highway. With a 10-lane highway, you can have more cars than a 2-lane highway. It's the same. Now you got more blood vessels. Now you have more capillaries getting to the hair follicle stem cells, fueling it more. And if you have high levels of DHT, which because you would have male pattern baldness, or if you have a DHT sensitivity, which you would know because if you have androgenic alopecia, male pattern baldness, PCOS related hair loss, just to name a few, you have you have all of like a sensitivity to DHT. So whereas they're not going to scalp massaging doesn't inhibit DHT, it overrides it, strengthens your hair follicle stem cells so they don't shrink or miniaturize, right? They become resilient, and now you have more capillaries, more oxygen, more circulation, because the issue is the circulation. So that is how you're going to have the most insane hair growth, especially with summer coming. And that's just a quick summation of why this makes a difference.